Hello everyone and welcome to another in the studio. In this episode, I will show you a unique approach for starting a remix. Now, I love to use this method because I can get inspired quickly and get things moving very fast. When I receive the remix parts from the original artist, sometimes I'll get like 2 or 3 stems, which is kind of annoying because that really limits me. But sometimes I'll get the entire track broken down into individual parts, which is great because then I have, more options. I have all the parts available to me. For example, all of these muted parts here, all of these stems are the remix parts that I received for my most recent remix that I just finished up the other day. Now, the only downside here, and it's not even a downside, but it can be time consuming to go through all of the individual parts and stems and pick out what do I want to use, what do I not want to use, and so on and so forth. So the method that I'm going to show you is just a great way to get started and inspired quickly, and I find it to be very effective. So we're going to use a remix I did a couple years ago for the example, and in this particular track, these are grouped stems here. So I would only do this method if I had individual stems like I did for this track here. And by the way, I did use this method on this remix, this one here, and it worked out great. So this is what I would do. Actually, let's have a listen to the remix first. Here's what it sounds like. Okay. The full final mastered version of this remix is available on my SoundCloud if anyone's interested for a free download. Okay, so first off, I'd make sure that the stems were tight and on the grid. Sometimes when you receive individual stems, sometimes they're not. There might be a little bit of space at the beginning and they're not quite on the grid, so you might have to do a little bit of nudging to get it on the grid. But once that's done, then I'd make sure I had plenty of space before the stems and after the stems, of course. And then I'd set up a little loop. So I'm just going to zoom in here. And I like to use or go for a shorter loop. I usually go for a bar or a half bar, but you can maybe use 2 bars perhaps. You can experiment with that. But I like to keep it short personally. Let's zoom back out. Okay, so then what I would do is I'd just like highlight all of the stems and then I'd play the track back and I just scrub through the track and find a half bar or 1 bar loop that I was vibing off of, that I was feeling, that I was inspired by, and I'd use that as a jumping off point for the remix. So for example, I would just, sift through the track until I found a loop that I was feeling. And then I'd cut out that half bar section or 1 bar section or whatever and edit from there and use that as my jumping off point. And I find it to be a really effective way to start a remix when you have all of the individual stems like this. So that is the little tip. Hopefully you found this useful, all of you remixers out there. Leave me a comment or question. I'd love to hear from everyone. Stay safe, and I will see you very, very soon. Take care.